I need your help. I need your help in sorting out the concept of the one drop rule, but from the reverse perspective of it. Here's what inspired this video today. I made a video a while back, one of my most popular ones this year. The video was called Meghan Markle is Black and I Don't Care. Is that racist? Paula Sanders, thanks for watching by the way, says this, quote, I understand exactly what you're saying and I'm like you, who cares? End quote. And I had made a follow-up video pointing out, basically asking a question, is it part of white culture to not care about things like this? To be oblivious that so many people who are black would care that Meghan Markle married into royalty and she has African DNA. And what's interesting when I made that video is how many people can't agree on anything. They get angry with each other in the comment section, but they don't seem to have, it's almost not even like in two sides. It's like people are all over the place. There's people saying that you should celebrate Meghan Markle marrying into royalty because she is the first black. And then there's other people who are saying it doesn't matter because she acts white. And these black people are saying this. So I think it's interesting because it's this whole concept of the one drop rule. If we're going to celebrate someone who has one parent that's of African descent being the first black person to do that, where do we draw the line? For example, Halle Berry, Academy Award, first African-American woman to win that award. But to put it in perspective, her father wasn't really that present in her life. Her mother basically raised her. Her mother was white. But she identifies as the first black woman to win that award. Similar case, President Obama. Raised by his white mother, his father really wasn't in the picture for the most part. Only met him a couple times really. But we see him as the first black president. I see both Halle Berry and President Obama as biracial, as I would Meghan Markle. So we're celebrating the first biracial people to do things when really what we're saying is we're calling it they're the first black person. So ultimately there's this question, well, how little African DNA can you have and still be the first black person to do something? Can we say that Bruno Mars is the first black musician to do certain things because he has some African DNA, even though he probably recognizes more as someone who's Jewish more than anything, probably. I mean, he's mixed DNA, biracial. So it's this whole thing about reverse one drop rule. I mean, and I've said it before, my mom's DNA test showed that I think she's like 1 or 2% African. So by default, you're looking at a one dropper right here. But I'm not identifying as a black American or African American. I don't think anyone would ever say that about me because of that one drop that's been proven through my mom's DNA test. So ultimately, if we're having to ask the question, well, how black is black before we can be the first black person to do something, we're ultimately going back to the one drop rule, back in the times of when we're talking about slavery. If there was a black parent and a white parent, are they black or white? Well, they're black because of that one drop. Are they a quarter? Oh, yep, there's the one drop. Well, now we've got DNA tests that can back this up. One drop. If one drop equals 1% based on my mom's 2% or whatever it was, where do you dice it up? Where do you draw the line? So I think what happens is as much as people couldn't stand this concept of the racist concept of the one drop rule when it came to if you have one great grandparent who is black, then that means you're black and you can't have certain rights or whatever. It's kind of like the modern day reverse of that. Not that this is any kind of equivalent, but ultimately we will celebrate the first black person to do something if they have one parent that's black, and even if that one parent wasn't even present in the picture. And it goes back to, well, what do most black Americans identify as being black? It's not the amount of DNA, it's the black struggle. It's that they have experienced a different version of life because other people saw them as black. And that's a different experience than the rest of us can understand. We can learn about it, but we can never know what that was really like. So I think this is an interesting topic. I would love for us to talk more about it. I've got a lot of black Americans watching my videos, and I love it that you're here because I love learning more about other perspectives that I can't on my own. I can make videos talking about it that will spawn comments that I can learn from and maybe make another video. So ultimately what I'm presenting in this video is the concept that The modern day version of the one drop rule is now reversed. It's that if you've got any African DNA and you're the first person to do something, then people can say that you're the first black person to do that thing. But there's no minimal amount of African DNA unless you're Rachel from the Rachel Divide on Netflix. Have you've seen that? That's where I've learned a lot, where she has 0 African DNA, but she identified with black culture because she married into it and had kids, but she actually wasn't. So that was a problem. But as long as you can prove you've got some, then you can qualify. How little is too little? How much do you actually need? Is it just one drop? Enlighten me. I'm very fascinated. I want to learn more about this. Teach me what I need to know right here in the comments.